Hello and welcome to the final Community Safety and Security Live Forum for 2023. It's been an awesome year here on the Sorrento Resource Connector as we connected with different officers from across Area 3. And it's always a pleasure to host these sessions. I am Winsome. And let me thank those of you who have been journeying with us throughout the year. Those of you who would have been coming with us all the way from 2022 when we started back in June with the Community Safety and Security Forum. And those who joined along the way, a warm welcome to you, whether you're tuned in live or you're watching the replay. It is always a pleasure to have you in this space. It's not too late to share the link so others can join us live, to ask their questions, make their comments, because we keep it interactive in this space. And if they're not able to join us live, you can watch the replay at your convenience. And we are focusing on building trust, boosting safety with the Clarendon and St. Elizabeth police chiefs. And I speak of none other than Acting Senior Superintendent Carlos Russell from the Clarendon Division. Welcome, Sir Russell. Unmute and let's hear you. We are not hearing you. I hope that we can get that microphone fixed, or probably try the cell phone and see what's going on. All right, while we're getting that sorted out, we also have with us Acting Superintendent Coleridge Minto from the St. Elizabeth Division. Welcome, Sir Minto.
Thank you, Winsome. It's a pleasure to join you and to join with my senior officer, Acting SSP Carlos Russell.
Amazing. And we need to welcome you again to Area 3 because you have been here with us. How long has it been since you've took over in St. Elizabeth?
I joined 1st of July.
Technically, it's been a little while.
Just July, yes.
Yes, it's been a little while. Right, but we haven't had you in this space before, so let me welcome you to the space. And while we get the audio sorted out with Acting Senior Soup Russell, let's take a look at what went down at our Area 3 Police and Stakeholders Joint Expo back in Police Week of Activity. Let's hear you, Sir Russell.
Yes, are you hearing me now?
Fantastic. Sounds awesome. If you can rotate the screen so we can all look like we're on video, that would be great. All right, so let's take a look at what some of the highlights from the Area 3 Expo while we get that sorted out and hear what our acting ACP Miller had to share at that event.
Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for the Area 3 QR. The quick response team from Area 3.
Good evening, I'm Acting ACP Glenford Miller, in charge of Area 3. Today is our 156 years of anniversary, and we are doing a joint partnership stakeholders approach today by virtue of what you're seeing in here today, where we collaborate with various stakeholders to include JDF, fire, health. Even the financial institutions are here with us today, and we're having several things on display. As you'd have seen a while ago, our quick response team was actually just doing a display. You understand, we have a drill parade earlier on. We're having also recruitment taking place here today at ACE. So persons who want to become police officers, they can come to ACE today and do the necessary police tests. The partnership that we want to establish, it is one that we cannot even speak about. Without the citizens, we cannot be successful. We need the citizens to be successful. Remember, the police is not everywhere, but persons within the communities know what is happening, see what is happening, hear what is happening, and we want them to partner with us and communicate with us so we can solve the crime within their various areas. I don't show the microscope you're talking about, but what I can tell you in terms of crime, Area 3 overall is seeing a reduction in all major crimes. Area 3 overall. Because right now with me is acting SP Minto, who is in charge of the St. Elizabeth Division. And in St. Elizabeth Division, murder is down. In Manchester Division, murder is down. But in Clarendon Division, murder is of a little percentage fraction up. But guess what? We're doing our best to see how best we can stabilize things in the Clarendon Division. And that is why we're here today. Partnering with the citizens to fix things in Clarendon. There is nothing in Clarendon that is wrong, that cannot be fixed by what is right with Clarendon. If the young persons are getting themselves into trouble, as you see what we're doing here today, it's just basically, look at it, look right around you. A lot of school children are here. We're trying to get to them from the primary school, then to the high school. And if we, from a police perspective, can win them from there, I can tell you, Jamaica will be a better and a safer place.
All right. So ACP Miller set the foundation for us in terms of that event and the importance of building trust with the community. All right. Let me thank, we have a new subscriber, Daniel. Thank you so much for subscribing. And for the others who are on who have not yet subscribed, please remember to subscribe, set your notification, and become a part of the Serenity Resource Connector community. All right, we have Kamisha Clark. Welcome, Kamisha. Kamisha is joining us from Goshen, St. Elizabeth, representing Northeast Public Relations Officer. Welcome. We have Godfrey Watson joining us as well. Good evening to you. All right. It's my commanding officer, Superintendent Minto. All right, I love the ownership. All right, so let's get the discussion started. We're having a little feedback, Sir Russell. Maybe we need to steady the phone. We're getting a little feedback there. All right, let's get started. So, what are the biggest challenges and successes that you faced in your respective divisions? Let's start with Sir Minto, and then Sir Ross will take it from there. So would you say some of the biggest challenges in building trust? Building trust is not easy, right?
Yeah, trust isn't easy. Thank you, Winsome. You know, I think perhaps the greatest hurdle that I had to overcome, the country and the parish, you know, woke up to the news on the 19th of June regarding the escapees. There are many theories floating around and coming into an environment where, on the heels of that, where persons were, having trust. And so it took quite a bit of stakeholder engagement. It took quite a bit of, a lot of public interaction with citizens at various levels. going out to meeting with people and to, to let them understand that the JCF have been a force for good, and that we're here as a police force to work with the citizens. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I just didn't hear the sound again. I was wondering. So I think coming into that environment where there were, like I said, just a number of theories floating around, and you want to build public confidence, and that ultimately helps to determine your successes or failures. And so right as I got into the division, I immediately started to, build, firstly, engage my own officers, understanding the landscape of St. Elizabeth, and also then started engagement of persons. This engagement, start from the taximan at Black River Square to those in the market, to going to different community meetings, and a number of meetings were held and are still being held. And I must say, after 5 months, there's still a lot of work to be done, but the citizens of St. Elizabeth, I have maintained an excellent relationship with them, even when there are issues affecting their communities, particularly, crime issues, robberies. They're always very respectful. I hear them, I listen to them, and we develop strategies around them. And one of the things perhaps Mr. Russell will speak about later is ensuring that we do what is called proximity policing. So we're not up there and they're down there. We're in this thing together. And so as the issues arise, we go to where the issues are, we listen to the people. We met with the bar operators, we met with a group of promoters, we met with political leaders, we met with just different groupings of persons at different levels. And depending on what their situations were, where we could address those issues, then we address them. And I believe it's working. And again, there's much more to be done, but we will continue on this to ensure that we can have the public's confidence as we police their communities.
Well said. Sir Russell?
Yes, evening again, Sweeter.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the biggest challenge that I would say that I have as a police is the culture of the citizens that are out there. There's a narrative that is out there already in the street that the police is not to be trusted. So from day one, you are up against that challenge. So you have to go out there to convince these people that, look, I can be trusted. My police officers can be trusted. And so you have to demonstrate that to them, that they can trust you, they can give you information and know that the information that they pass on to you will be kept confidential. So it's a lot of work, and you have to be out there in the community. And one of the things that we have to be doing is to be having a lot of community meetings, community walkthroughs. We have to be in the community, walking through the community, going from door to door, meeting the local citizens to say that, hey, I am Superintendent Russell, or my officers are out there. I am Sergeant so or Inspector so, and I am the person in charge of this station, and exchanging numbers and building that trust with them, so that these persons can have that intimate contact with the local police. So it is a challenge just to convince them that you can be trusted, and to build the trust. But I believe that my team, that we are doing a good job in reaching out to the community, to convince them that the police in Clarendon can be trusted, and the police in Clarendon is there to help them and to ensure that their communities are safe.
Well said. The trust building exercise is like a cycle, because each time you have an incident, you have to go back and rebuild the trust. How do you actually rebuild trust after different incidents in your division? What are some of the activities that you've actually undertaken in those spaces? All right.
Well,
Continue, Sir Russell. Yes.
Well, you know, from time to time there will be incidents that persons may conceive incident, but when incidents happen, then we'll have to go out in the community to meet with the community, to look at the incidents, discuss what has happened, look at ways to fix them. We also use our JCF communication arm to communicate information also. So we also use a social media platform. But one of the things that we always do is to ensure that if something happens in a community, that we reach out to them, we meet with them, and we address the particular issue of concern to them, so that we can settle it and we move on and to rebuild whatever trust that is there.
Sir Minto?
I'll address it from two perspectives. One, when we're in the advent of technology, social media, and when an officer does something, and particularly when it's captured and then it goes viral, even if it is not St. Elizabeth or Clarendon or from Area 3, it affects brand JCF. It affects how the public, including those in our parishes and our command, see us. And then now you have the incidents within our divisions that is immediate to us. What is true, though, is when there is swift and corrective actions taken, and that the public understands that there was no cover-up, there's an investigation immediately underway, and we are allowing the rule of law and due process to take its course. When we can put that out there, I believe the citizens appreciate and understand that something went wrong, and we'll allow an investigation to take place, and where corrective actions are to be taken, where there are sanctions to be levied, then let the chips fall where they may. That to me is very critical and paramount, that we address the matters frontally and without any form of bias, even if it involves a member of our division.
Well said. And St. Elizabeth is representing in the comments. We have a number of the justices of the peace coming on here, and let's take this one. JP Malcolm from Black River says she's feeling the presence of the police a little more now. Congratulations to the team. All right, fantastic. We have a number of JPs here. We have Inspector Wallace from Clarendon supporting her boss and Mr. Minto. All right, and we have a comment here. We're going to get to this section. Goshen need back their police youth club.
I will note some of the comments for Goshen, and anything for us to action, I'll note it. But let me just say, Ms. Witter, that sure. I have an excellent relationship with the justice of the peace, the justices of the peace in the parish of St. Elizabeth. I would have attended, their association meetings and functions, and they have been very supportive. And if there's one group I can call on, and I know that I can find a JP if I need somebody in the middle of the night, and this is a group. And I'm really pleased with their support. and I know Reverend Watson, who is one of our station pastors, station chaplains, Reverend Pusey, who's a number of them who supports the police. And I didn't even know they were on, but I really want to big them up and to express my appreciation for their support. And I actually look forward with even what happened last week with the, we had a couple of murders. A number of the JPs reached out to me because, curfew was might not be new to Clarendon, but it was new to some of the communities in St. Elizabeth. And as the JPs responded and asked queries, we were able to provide them with some amount of clarity. A lot of the pastors called us, can we have church Sunday morning? And we were able to reach out to them. And so kudos to the JPs. I think they're doing an excellent job, and we look forward to their continued support.
Yes, and as you mentioned, and Reverend Watson indicated, he has been on almost all the live forum that we've had with St. Elizabeth. Welcome back, Sir Watson, recognizing the name. All right, and we're taking the commendations as they pop up. Prader Larceny is eating us alive in Northeast St. Elizabeth, but I want to say thanks to the team as they have been reaping some success as several animals have been returned to their owners. Kudos again, Team St. Elizabeth.
And several prosecutions and convictions in the court for Prader Larceny.
Fantastic. I hope the message is registering loud and clear so that they can stop all of that. All right. So, as I said earlier, we keep this interactive. So we have heard from Acting Superintendent Coleridge Minto, Acting Senior Superintendent Carlos Russell, about how they've been building trust and rebuilding trust because it's an ongoing process. But we want to hear from you. What are the most important factors for building trust between police and the community? You can go ahead and share. All right, fantastic. You can go ahead and share in the comments. Let me put the question on so you can see it. What are the most important factors for building trust between police and the community? And while you're sharing your comments, let's take a look at what the MP for Southeast Clarendon, Pernell Charles Jr., had to share about the recently held Expo. And Acting ACP Miller would have mentioned today. It's today as in today, November 21st. That's when we had the Expo in Clarendon. So let's take a look at what was shared there.
And we have one of the most dedicated area, of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and the police have put on what I think is a stellar performance here, bringing students and community members and JDF and Fire and Heart and everybody together. NWC, everyone is here, all to provide services to the community. So we want to say thank you. We want to say welcome, firstly, to Southeast Clarendon here in Hayes. But thank you to the police for the commitment and for always wanting to improve. And through this, they are engaging the community, informing students and the community members of what they do, the various arms of the JCF and the other services, and making us more familiar with what they do so that we can provide information, so we can have the students who want to get into the force know exactly what route they can take. And I think most importantly, to show that they are a part of the community. They are one of our most important stakeholders. So we really appreciate them putting this on. And again, we welcome them to Southeast Clarendon. Well, I can tell you, I'm not just a lawyer. I'm a former criminal prosecutor. But I served as Crown Counsel in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, as well as Clerk of Court for St. Catherine. And I can tell you, this is a very important event, because again, it allows for the interface and the engagement so students can become comfortable with the authority, and also to give them a chance to see it in a different way. So they get a chance to understand what the ops room is, to get up in the fire truck, to really meet and greet with the superintendents and it gives a different understanding and face to what the police force and the soldiers are about. So I really think that we need to do more of these. I commend again the JCF for putting this on, and we look forward to continuing to give our support to them wherever they are. Without a doubt, man. I mean, the JCF continues their recruitment always, and we give support to that. I was just talking to DSP Bartley, who's in charge of it, about a recruitment that she did in Portland Cottage, and trying to see if we can set up some more to provide opportunities for young persons, but more importantly, to make sure that we are funneling the right Jamaicans into the force, persons with integrity, with the physical capacity, and with the commitment and determination to do that job. It's a very difficult job. So I hope and I know that this is going to help in terms of, again, allowing students and residents to appreciate what the police and soldiers and fire and other services, what they do. And whenever they have their recruitment, I think they're going to see an uptick in applications.
All right, there you have it from the Member of Parliament himself sharing his take on the Expo, which sets the transition perfectly as we move into boosting safety, because quite a bit of what the police does is these kind of engagement, different activities with different initiatives and programs to boost safety in this space. But before we move into some of those specifics, Sir Russell, what's your greatest takeaway from the Expo?
Well, now the greatest takeaway is the amount of students that were present, and the interactions that they had with the different sections within the police force, as also the other departments. They were able. Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Yes, we're hearing you now.
Yes. Yes. So they were able to interact with all the different departments and get a feel of what the police force is like, and also to see a different face. Sometimes a lot of these students only see the police when they're out there on patrols, or when they are carrying out operations in the various communities. But a lot of them don't know that we have a Sissoko department. They don't know that we have a K9 department, and we have all these different areas within the force. And I know that they would have take away from that a lot of information, and I know that would have gotten, as a matter of fact, I know that the applications will be coming in to join. So the Expo was very good in exposing the JCF, and I believe that is something that we should be doing more often to expose us more to the public.
Indeed. And I have to endorse that. That was my favorite part of it, the children. And we actually had over 340 students between Clarendon and Manchester, St. Elizabeth, that were on the ground on that day. And it was just amazing. Sir Minto, what's the highlight for you?
Yeah, well, I could say ditto to my senior officer. I endorse the comments of Mr. Russell. Like him, I too was very pleased with the turnout and to see the JCF showcasing another side to the public that they are not normally exposed to. Even in your own clips, just to see the students sitting on top of the vehicles in the different areas, both the military vehicles and the police vehicles, and the kind of excitement, a student run over to me and just hug me, little child, and you're thinking, it just puts a smile on our face. And I really endorse what Sir Russell indicated, that we do this once per year during the police week. Perhaps, sir, we need to have a conversation with our area officer to see if we can do it at least twice per year, and to allow persons, because I'm sure we didn't even showcase to most of the parishes. So we might need to look at how do we move it across the various parishes and to have more persons benefiting from the different offerings of the JCF. But my takeaway was really just a strong partnership between the police, the other stakeholders that were there, and how we seamlessly allowed it to just manifest and unfold in front of the public.
Indeed. Fantastic. Oh yes, those smiles are to die for. One of the teachers shared that the group, most of them were members of the police youth club in the school. So they were actually getting out now to be exposed, physically exposed to what the police really does. And I think that was really awesome. And they were having a whale of a time. All worthwhile. All right. So in addition to that, there was a large activity in St. Elizabeth Division as well. Was that earlier this month?
The 6th of December.
6th of December.
Yes.
All right. Let's take a look. I have a little recap here. Let's take a look at that, and then you go ahead and share the details for us. Let me pull that up. All right, I must comment on this. The streets look really good, nice and clean. And I commend the citizens of St. Elizabeth and trust that's how it always is. All right, go ahead, Sir Minto, and share with us what actually took place.
So on the 6th of December, the St. Elizabeth Police, we had 3 activities in one day. First, we began the day with a divisional conference where the Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson, CD, came and he addressed the police personnel. We had close to 100 police officers at that conference, which was held at Ames along in Black River there. Following that conference, then he had a luncheon with some stakeholders that was held at NOLA's out at Luana. Then after that, what you just saw was the final event for the day, which was a town hall meeting that was in partnership with the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation, and they provided quite a bit of support for that event. It began at about 3:30 p.m. with a march through the town center along Main Street, and a marching band that was before the officers. The band students were from the Newell High School, and so we had the band. Then they gave the eyes right to the commissioner, and then we went to the public gathering where the commissioner and some other speakers, the Augustus Rotolorum, the Honorable Beryl Rochester, the Honorable Floyd Green, and His Worship the Mayor, and some others brought greetings and remarks. And then our commissioner gave his address to the public. It was a large gathering, particularly during the march past. Hundreds of persons lined the streets. I mean, everybody had their cameras out. And it allowed again for the parish to a smaller extent, because we didn't have the feel like in Clarendon, but to showcase another side of the police in terms of the march, the drills, and to interact with citizens. Many persons expressed how pleased they were with the event, some of them being close to the commissioner for the very first time. And so they got a chance, you know, it was taking a lot of photos with persons. And it was really, really a good event. But most importantly, they were able to ask questions of the commissioner, things that were affecting the parish. Questions were from principals, from the media, from just ordinary citizens saying, what can you do to support the police? This is happening in this area. And the commissioner was able to firsthand hear some of the concerns and made some commitments. One of the things which was perhaps a very good highlight, you know, people are always talking about resources. The commissioner handed out 5 motorbikes to the division on his visit on the 6th of December. Welcome and well needed bikes. They assist us with our quick response. And so we're deploying them in areas, both our town centers and some sections along the southern belt of the parish to assist us with the anti-robbery initiatives that we have going on. But all in all, it was a successful event, and we look forward to it again next year. And we had a live broadcast, to say that, by Nationwide, who covered between 10 and 1 p.m. Cliff Hughes Online. And I must commend and say thanks to all the sponsors, Ramesh Entertainment, Brady's Construction and Services. I don't remember, I don't have all the lists now, but Jake's down at Treasure Beach, a number of stakeholders, citizens assisted in sponsoring different things to assist, to ensure that the municipal themselves, we had the sound that was provided by a police officer who had a sound and provided at no cost to us. We had Mr. Shaw provided the tents and the chairs. I could list, but it was a number of persons. And then we had about 15 stakeholders who set up booths in the area. Banks set up the booths, CDC, CPFSA, SDC, JPS, NWC, a number of stakeholders. They set up booths in the area, and that was throughout the entire day from 10 o'clock until we wrapped up the session sometime after 6.
That was a full day of activities. And I knew you had a very narrow window within which to get that all done. So commendations to the team in St. Elizabeth. And lest we get into serious problems, since home time that came in at that last minute to do some coverage for the local cable system, let me make sure to say thanks to them on your behalf.
Yes, please,
So
thank
that
you. I
when we
didn't
call on
remember
them
the
again,
names, but they came and all. Yes, I don't remember, but the local cable company in the area.
Home Time
came.
Entertainment Systems.
Yes, thank you.
Pleasure. All right, fantastic. But in addition to those large events, there have been some other initiatives. And since I've been seeing a number of questions, concerns, the youth club especially concerns, share with us in terms of how the youth club aspect program has been helping to boost that kind of safety, the neighborhood watch. Sir Russell, and then we go back to Sir Minto.
With the communities and the neighborhood watch program is one of the initiatives that we pay a lot of attention to. It was just a few weeks ago that we launched the neighborhood watch citizen association at the Langville Park Phase 3, and we have several other communities that we are working with to build out their neighborhood watch programs. What we try to say to these citizens is that a community that works together, that stay together, is a community that stays strong, and a community that normally has less crime. And the statistics have shown it, that the communities that are more organized, that has a strong neighborhood watch movement, then you find that you have less incidents of crime in these communities. So we continue to encourage the various communities to form themselves into neighborhood watch bodies. And so we continue to do that through our CSS and through our station commanders, and we continue to work with them. And I always say to them that, to the communities when I go to these meetings, as I always go into some of these meetings. Just now, I was just at a meeting down in the Four Parts area, where they're doing their tree lighting ceremony. And so I always say to them that the communities that stick together, where the citizens pay a lot of attention to what is happening in their community. So when you have the meetings, you see a lot of persons turn out. You can know sometimes when you go to the meetings, the communities that have problems just by the number of persons that you see turn out for these meetings. Because when you have a community that the citizens are not, that they don't care what is happening in their community, they don't stick together, then you will find that you will have serious issues there. So the community, the neighborhood watch movement is very important, and this is what we always support and ensure that these communities has a strong neighborhood watch in these communities.
Okay. So Russell, if you can go back to where you were before, the lighting behind you is, we're not seeing you clearly. Shifting. All right. Sir Minto?
Yeah, I agree with my senior officer, Mr. Russell, in terms of, neighborhood watch and the support that they themselves, in terms of policing their own communities and supporting the police. We have been pushing it as a major strategic priority. In fact, there is one community that we have a launch ready. We were aiming to have that launch in December. Given the festive season, we have pushed it back to January. I know there are some communities that in St. Elizabeth have very strong neighborhood watch. We have visited and met with the presidents and their groups in some of them. We are now have about 3 police youth clubs that have been sensitized, and by sensitized means we would have had meetings with them over a period of time, allow them to form their presidents and vice president and their board. And then when we get to the stage now where we prepare for an official launch, so we're anticipating in the first quarter of next year that we will have at least 2 neighborhood watches, 2 new one launch, and at the very minimum 2 or 3 police youth club launch. We hope to do that between January to March of next year. But I want to just use the opportunity to, speak to the citizens of St. Elizabeth, and this your program is aired right across Jamaica. That neighborhood watches work. We want to encourage communities to form association, form groupings, and not just form it by itself, but partner with the local police to establish it in a formal way. The neighborhood watch, is a formal organization. We give you a constitution, we give you some rules and guidelines, and we register you in the National Neighborhood Watch movement. And therefore, the citizens not only benefit from literature and meetings from St. Elizabeth or Clarendon, but you'll have like a National Neighborhood Watch conference, National Neighborhood, National Police Youth Club activities that we bring persons across the island, and some things that they may not even hear in St. Elizabeth, they hear best practices from another neighborhood watch in Kingston or Hanover. So we want to encourage right across Jamaica for persons to certainly work with their local police and to form neighborhood watches.
Yes, and also to encourage the citizens too, to encourage their young ones to be a part of the police youth clubs. The youth clubs works also. We have seen that from the youth clubs, a lot of these youngsters have gone on. We have a lot of them who have transitioned into the force and are now representing in different organizations and doing well. So we are just asking that the parents encourage their children to join the youth clubs in their area. And if there are no youth clubs in your area, just work with the police to establish one, because it does help to mold our youngsters.
Indeed. And so you've identified 2 programs that the citizens can actually partner with the police to see improved security and safety in their space. Any other area that they could partner with the police on so that they can help to be a part of the change they want to see in their respective communities? I'm seeing something about motor vehicle theft. This looks like, I'm not sure where this is. Kabisha, if you could indicate which of the parishes. Sorry, that's Denise Powell. Denise Powell, rather. Indicate which of the parish you have in that incident in.
Well, in a general way, go ahead, Senior Officer.
Yes, as we talk about the partnership, we have also been partnering with Project Star. They have been working with us in 3 communities since August, in the Havana Heights, the Treadlight, and the racetrack area. And we have been doing some work with them, and I've seen where those works are bearing fruits. Over the weekend, they also had their Christmas treat in the Treadlight community, and we were a part of that. A part of also the activities there. The police team participated in the football competition and the domino competition. The police team won the domino competition, and we went to the semi-finals of the football competition. So the citizens there would have also got an opportunity to interact with the police, to play against the police, and all of these activities just stands to benefit both the police and the citizens.
Indeed. Sir Minto?
Yeah, well, I won't go, but to perhaps answer the question earlier about the theft of motor vehicles. I think it happens in all 14 parishes. So I'm sure Mr. Russell and myself, we're no different. But, it's one of the things as we speak to people at our public meetings, certainly I do, in terms of the securing of your vehicles. But Mrs. Witter, there's a real problem we have with our citizens, and a number of our persons, they do what is called private rental. Last night I had a recovery of a vehicle with some men that were charged and held with a firearm. When you check, you hear, oh, the vehicle was rented to them. We have several vehicles now as exhibits. And we know tonight is not about crime, it's about prevention. And so we're not going into a lot of the crime. But what we're saying to our citizens, if you have your $2 million vehicle and you rent it for $6,000 or $7,000 a day to strangers who you don't know, and then they use it in the commission of a crime, you end up, one, it's not having the use of it, but 2, you also run the risk of when they return it, they may have made a copy of a key and they come back and remove it. So as part of the security, we want persons to desist from renting. When persons want rental, send them to the legitimate rental companies that carries the insurance and the coverage for rental. But outside of that, those situations, there are many people who park their car, they don't rent it, and they're still stolen. And those situations are real, and they're many. I looked on the data very recently, and if I had time, I would have pulled it up and showed you. But there are some vehicles that are more frequently stolen. So if you drive a Toyota, the risk of it being stolen is much higher than if you drive a BMW, for argument's sake. And I actually have the data showing the category of vehicles and how many of them were stolen in terms of type over this year and last year, in fact, over the last 5 years. So persons, when they're purchasing vehicle, make sure you put on a tracker if you can afford one, put on an alarm, secure your vehicle at your home, and again, just abide by the conditions of your insurance policy that in the event something happens, you're able to make a claim and be successful.
Fantastic. And you have moved right into helping us to set the framework as to some of the safety tips for the holidays. So we can continue along that line. Superintendent, is it Russell?
Yes,
this program, you know.
yes, you know, when it comes to the Christmas period, you know, that's the time a lot of persons go to do a lot of shopping. And with that, you see, the criminals also comes out. So persons have to be very proactive when they go out to do shopping. We encourage persons not to go around with large sums of cash. As best as possible, if you can use your ATM cards to do purchases, then you do that. Persons who like to wear flashy jewelry, expensive jewelries, in town centers, we ask them to desist from that. And we talk about the motor vehicles. So Minto mentioned that earlier. If we can carpool, we do that also. And it is very important that we put trackers and other safety devices on our vehicles. But in the town centers, we ask that you just be vigilant when you're walking. Look and see if persons are following you, tracking you. When persons are overly friendly, we have got a lot of reports, especially older persons, of persons losing money. They come out of a bank, somebody just come up to them, Mas John, and pretend they know them, and they're allowed to get close to these persons, sometimes to hug them or to shake hands, and when you know their monies are gone. So we have to be very careful of how we allow persons to come close into our personal space, especially when we draw money. When we're going out, if we can travel in groups, we do that. But for the business persons, I hope that we are not still allowing this one employee to walk with the scandal bag with the $4 million and $5 million to go to the bank. If you don't have a courier service, we're asking that you contact us and we will assist you to escort you to the bank, and it is free of charge. So we're just saying that to the business persons out there. But we're just asking persons to be vigilant and to be aware of their surroundings and not to go there with large sums of money when they are going in the town centers, because we know the criminals are there.
All right. Sir Minto, any tips to add?
Yeah, and my senior officer has said a lot. So, but perhaps just one or two things. One, he mentioned, the going out in the shopping. I'll speak to the back end of it. How you dispose your garbage is also very important. If you buy a 50-inch flat screen TV and you take it out and put just a box out at your bin at the gate, you're telling somebody that you just bought a new TV for Christmas. So be careful how you dispose of it. If you can destroy the box, cut it up, but don't just put it out at your gate for the garbage bin, because you're actually advertising to people that you just got a barrel. So that's one. Secondly, I'll go to the issue of the vehicle again and the ride sharing. If some areas have taxis now that do ride sharing, and so you end up going in a vehicle with several persons, share your PIN location. Send somebody your location. I'm in this car. Take a picture of the license plate. Send it to somebody. You just never know. Nobody plans to the day when you're going to be kidnapped. You don't know when something's going to happen to you. So you go in a car, take a picture of the license plate, send it to somebody. I'm in this car. This is my live location, especially when in doubt. I'm still on transportation. Don't just go in a vehicle because it has on a red plate and you think it's a taxi. Remember now, criminals use these as disguise. They'll put a female in the vehicle, they'll put on a red plate and they'll park at the taxi stand. So you want to ensure that, one, if you're taking the red plate, because we don't want you to take a robot, but ensure you know the driver. And most times, if you live in a particular area, you kind of have an idea of all the drivers who ply a particular route. So don't see a strange car with a red plate and just run ahead in there. Avoid routines. People can study you with your routines. Super mentioned about observation and paying attention to your surroundings. And finally, install cameras in areas where you can, at your homes, your business places. Criminals are not really afraid of cameras because they wear masks, but it helps the police with the investigation oftentimes. Panic buttons are also good. Look at your access points, windows, doors, and even can put on the sensors so that if they are disturbed, it can give off a signal and alert persons. I'll stop there for now, but there's so many. I mean, security is wide.
That's right.
We need a whole program for security.
All right. And let me crave your indulgence. This is the final live forum for 2023. And we are inching to go over the hour, but we must take some of your questions and concerns before we leave here. All right. DSP Owen Brown, anything for the Courier service like beryllium, regular robberies involving that team?
That's a Mr. Russell to respond. He's a senior
I tell you, that's a good question, Sir Brown. But the beryllium team will just have to look at how they operate. They have become a bit too routine in their operations. So the criminals are able to study how they operate and set up traps for them. So I guess they will have to be a little bit more dynamic and try to look at different ways in how they do their thing. I don't want to say because we can't have police or soldiers going with them because they are for a service that they are collecting for. So they will have to look at also training their officers a little bit more better, to be a little more alert, and to look at their general security and ensure that we don't have any more of those robberies. But this is something that the management of beryllium will have to look at as it relates to how they operate, their whole operations.
All right. Thank you, Russell. Vanessa Montague is saying that we're not aware that I could ask a police officer to assist to the bank for free. Learn something new tonight. That's what we do here, Vanessa, in the Sorrento Resource Connector. Connect you with resources that you might not have known existed. And so I'm glad that we have.
Yes, it is better for us to assist you to the bank than to have to be investigating a case of robbery or murder. So we will assist persons to the bank if where we see necessary.
All right, very important one. Children who may get lost during the busy period. Let's give some pointers how we protect the little ones. Sir Minto, you want to take that one?
It's very important that and again, depending on the age of the child, but if parents are able to teach their children some basic things, let them know the mother's name or where they live or something, so that when they are lost and somebody finds them and brings them to the station, they say, "Who's mommy? Where do you live?" then they'll do that. And if you have concerns and the child has any form of, well, a pocket or bag or anything walking with, put a little something in there that has a contact number or name, so that in the event the child gets lost and they're taken to the police station, we could use that to find the persons. But it's really, especially during this period, that we protect our children. We have a duty of care, and so we should not leave them out of our sights. We should not just send them, because they're children. They want to explore. They'll be looking at this toy, and then they're going into this other aisle, and then all of a sudden they're gone. And so, because they are minors, we want to ensure that they're always close enough where you can eyeball them and you don't leave them out of your sight. Don't know, Mr. Russell, anything else to add to it?
Yeah, and it's always good for parents to, let your children memorize your telephone number. It's very good. Just in case they get missing, they can at least say, this is my mother's number or my father's number, so that we can call to say, hey, your child is here. And as Mr. Minto said, parents have a duty of care. You have to ensure that you protect your children. If you're out with them, your eyes must be on them. You must know where they are at all times. And you have to teach them also to know that they cannot just run away and leave you and get lost. So parents, we just have to be a little bit more careful with our children.
All right, Sir Minto. Sophia is concerned regarding the number of mentally challenged persons in the streets of Santa Cruz. Many are very young, and she's fearful when she walks in the town and she's screaming for help.
I note the help in bold.
Yes.
Thank you, Sophia Dunkley, for your question. I must say, Sophia, that this matter has come to my attention, not necessarily for Santa Cruz only, but across the parish. And as such, I would have had a meeting with the St. Elizabeth Health Services. I hope I'm calling the name correct. Just about 2 weeks ago. And this was the major agenda item as to how do we treat with persons on the streets. And there's a protocol that exists from the JCF in terms of how we deal with that. But there are teams of persons who go out from the Ministry of Health that, in support of the police, will assist in moving these persons off the street. Where they commit crime, the police takes precedence in terms of those matters. Following that meeting in St. Elizabeth with the Ministry of Health, then we had an area meeting with Clarendon, Manchester, and St. Elizabeth. And it was a regional meeting, again, looking on these issues. So it is being addressed, and I will certainly share with the station commander for Santa Cruz to pay some attention and to reach out to the Ministry of Health personnel for assistance as necessary to treat with the persons. And I'm noting the concern.
Awesome. All right. Here is what Kenisha believe, that reinstating the police youth clubs or making them stronger would be one way that the police could incorporate citizens into trusting the police officers again. This issue is still at large. I know a lot of work is being done where the police youth clubs are concerned. I believe SDC was recently mandated to pay some more attention to that as well. So there's additional support in the different area. So we're hoping to see some improvements going into 2024. Thank you for that, Kenisha. All right, and we have commendations. DSP Minto and his team for taking on a hands-on approach in serving the people of St. Elizabeth. You're doing a fantastic job. Let me encourage you to keep it up. And this was Denise. She was sharing about a video that it was done at night, so the faces are unclear. This is a situation with the stolen motor vehicle, and that people are on edge because of this incident. And she went on to commend the the team. All right, before she got to that, the communities used to be peaceful. Now everyone basically on edge, having sleepless nights. What is being done to break this car stealing ring in Junction and the surrounding communities? Oh, this is a specific question.
So I think Junction is my space, not
Right.
Clarendon. We do have reports of a few stolen cars in the parish, and ironically, we do also have stolen bikes, even the bikes that are worth, $40,000. The Yenging bikes, they are stealing, robbing people of them. We continue to investigate every report of larceny or stolen car, as the person refers to it. And, again, we don't recover them all, but we have recovered some. I was on the news just this evening speaking about 2 cars that were recovered 2 days ago. I remember my very first week in St. Elizabeth, a car that was stolen in Clarendon, and it was recovered in Black River hours after it was stolen. And there have been many cars over the last 5 months that have been recovered, but there have also been so many others that have been stolen that have not been recovered. I can only say to the citizens again that one has to look, we're in a different environment now than 10, 15, 20 years ago. And when perhaps it was okay to just drive your car in your yard and leave it, and there was no gate and there was no alarm and tracker, it's not the same today. And again, if I had time and you told me, I could share with you, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry in terms of stolen car. When you look at the amount of cars that have been stolen per year in Jamaica and over the last 5 years, amounts to billions of dollars. And where is that money going? In the hands of criminals, people who are in the underworld. So they're scamming, but there are also a lot of people earning millions of dollars through stolen cars that they scrap or they resell or do some things with it. And so persons have to ensure, now, when you buy a vehicle, it's an asset. How do you secure your asset? Is it safe where I leave it? Do I need to do more to ensure that it is safe? Because remember, we can't be everywhere. There's a patrol in Junction. There's an OST in Junction. So we have at least 2 patrols on a round-the-clock basis. But we're talking about thousands of homes. And therefore, we want citizens to look also at their arrangements. And I know we're out of time, but let me just share this. It's like I say to persons, the days when you could not grill your homes, and it was okay. And many persons have been saying, now a lady grills her home, grills her shop, she grills the inside of the house, and the grill is on the outside of the window. So grills, and people still cut the outside grill, take out the window, cut the inside grill to go in. I have another situation where they broke into the house, the shop, by coming through the roof. So the person grills the roof. It's a different environment we're in now, Ms. Witter. And persons who want to, what I call, reap what they don't sow, will go at lengths to get in and onto people's property, to remove their vehicles or to steal their goods. But we continue to investigate. We want them to report every case that they have and allow the system to continue. We will catch up on them. Some of them we catch immediately. Some of them we foiled at the time. Some of them will take a little longer time before we catch up with them.
And I love how Denise framed her thing. She outlined the challenges, asked her question, and then she extends commendations to those police officers who are working hard, but indicate that they're still living in fear on every side. All right. And so I'm sure that the police will continue to reassure and protect, as they have indicated. And let's round out with some more commendations. Abba, welcome. Commendations to our dedicated officers. Congratulations to Clarendon on the opening of the Domestic Violence Center at Denby. All right. This one is new to me, so I'm learning something in the space as well.
Yes, as Ms. Eva for saying that. So
Yes.
yesterday we would have opened a new Sissooka and Domestic Violence Center at Denby. It is on the Denby showground property. So
Okay.
the Sissooka office will be operating from there. What we want is for it to be open on a 24-hour basis. But for now, it will be open in the days until we can fully staff it for it to be operating on a 24 hours basis. But it was handed over to us yesterday.
That's great news. Additional
Yeah.
resources in this space. And if the resource officers are here from any of those entities, could share the contact details in the comments, that would be very helpful. So we're talking about the DVI centers. We're talking about victim services, restorative justice, and the others, child diversion. If any of you are on, go ahead and share whether Clarendon and St. Elizabeth. That would be awesome. All right, Sir Minto, Shirley loves you. You're doing your job well done, and you're getting blessings. Right. Ava would have shared, and this is a good note for us to round out by sharing the upcoming events in the division. So Ava is reminding us that the Longville Park Police was very supportive of the Freetown Foundation's gender-based violence sensitization from September 30 to November 25th. Over 100 residents from 23 communities participated. Well done. Commendations to the collaboration there. All right. Longville Park Police Station and the Office of the Customs of Clarendon will host the Children's Street this Sunday,
Yeah.
December 17th at 12 p.m.
Yes, ma'am. So not only Longville Park will be having the street this weekend, but all the police stations in Clarendon will be having the Children's Street, and that is in collaboration with the Clarendon Crime Prevention Committee headed by the Custos. To include Spalding, which is in Manchester. Some of the stations will be doing theirs on Saturday and some on Sunday. But this weekend will be the weekend for the Children's Street. So we're looking for all the children to come out at the various police stations to participate in the events.
That's another of the collaborative engagement to build trust between citizens and the police that takes place each year. And we have to commend the officers and the team at the Office of the Custos that each year go about setting this thing in motion. All right, kudos. Sir Minto, what's going on in St. Elizabeth?
You know, that's ambitious, like Mr. Russell. I absolutely love Mr. Russell. You know, all the stations will be having a treat. Unfortunately, we are not there yet. Sir Russell. Sir Russell is a super division. It is, you know, his rank is bigger, I think. But we certainly will be doing something at Black River, both a tree lighting and a treat for children at Black River Police Station, which is the headquarters. We are also going to be doing something very novel to St. Elizabeth, but we're borrowing the idea, and I'm giving credit to another senior officer, SSP Phillips, over in St. Catherine South. So we're doing something that is called Shop with a Cop. So we're going to take a number of children across the parish in the 11 police stations to meet with us at a particular location, and they're going to shop with cops. And we're going to purchase the items that they want on the 23rd, Saturday, the 23rd of December. And that's just going to be, you'll see some highlights of it coming out. So we have the shop with cops coming up, and we have our treat coming up at the headquarters for that. Outside of that, I know the different station commanders some of them have already have things in train for local treats within their geographic space. I'm not sure that all 11 stations, though, have the kind of resources like Mr. Russell. But we continue to push, and we look forward to the public-private partnership and the support of anyone who can assist us, so that we can put a smile on some children or somebody's face during this Christmas. And so we're reaching out, and any help we can get, we would certainly welcome it.
Fantastic. All right. Time well spent indeed. So we would have heard about the different trust building mechanisms that are in place, how we've been boosting safety in the space, some tips for securing our valuables, ourselves, our loved ones throughout the holiday season. And Inspector Wallace would have been sharing some things to look for in terms of when you're putting on the tracking device. So the live comments filled with a lot of information. So you want to go back through it. For those who are just joining us, I see persons joining just now. Thank you for tuning in. All right. All right, so we see I have some sharing here. So tomorrow, so the treats actually start tomorrow. Moko is tomorrow. Black River Police will have their tree lighting and treat for the children on the 21st. All right, so we hear a lot of things here, and I learned something new for the opening of that center in Denby. And then one of the live viewers also learned that there's actually free security system to take your monies to the bank for the businesses, and it's right across Jamaica. It's not unique to Area 3.
Yes, I just want to take this time to commend the Hayes Police Youth Club. They were the national champion in the quiz competition. So I want to commend them for that achievement.
Fantastic. And Sir Minto, let me help you commend your team for winning the the parade competition at the
best
Expo.
drill. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. We won the best drill, Sir Russell, and we got 2 awards. We got the best drill and the best dress, and then they split it across the other division. But St. Elizabeth came out on top with that.
Right.
Excellent.
All right, so it seems as if we have one of our youth club heights from Hayes here. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to share the link with the other youth clubs so that they can learn what's going on and how they can continue to partner with the police so that we can make our spaces safer. And with that said, let me thank you, Acting Senior Superintendent Carlos Russell, Acting Superintendent Coleridge Minto of the Clarendon and St. Elizabeth Police Division, representing Area 3, for sharing with us in this space for this final episode of Community Safety and Security for 2023. Thank you to our live viewers and those who are watching the replay for tuning in. And remember, the playlist is there with a host of other information. So for those who are just learning about some of these programs, you'd be surprised at the valuable resources that's there. Over a year worth of information taking you through the Police Youth Club, why it was set up, and how you can be a part of the Police Youth Club, the Business Watch Group, where they're located, and how you can get one set up in your space. If you don't already have one, reach out to your local police to find out about setting up that. We looked at Jamaica Eye. We looked at the Road Traffic Act when it just came in, looked at some of the areas, and explanations were provided by the expert as to why it is those are in train and how you can stay safe on the road. Yes, Desmond Williams, thank you so much. Yes, so stay safe, enjoy the holidays, but it's not a wrap here on the Serenity Resource Connector. We go every Thursday to the end of 2023. Next Thursday, we're going to be highlighting a couple of community businesses, and then we're going to be closing out the year in this space with our municipal corporation in Clarendon. 2 councillors will be sharing updates from their divisions. So we have all of that to take care of here. So let me thank you once more. It's been a pleasure sharing virtual space with you. Thank you. Sergeant McLeod, season's greetings to you as well. Thank you so much. All right, have a fantastic night. And remember to stay safe out there and continue to protect yourself, because the police cannot be everywhere, right? So just utilize the tips that have been shared and share it with your neighbors, your friends, and everyone in your surrounding so that we can all stay safe. God bless you all and have a good night.